What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sports but Casually, just checking in after a very long time without uploading a video. Just letting you all know that I'm alive, I am well. Not that anybody was checking, but anyway, today ended up being a very big day for Toronto Raptors basketball. First, let's get the obvious, most embarrassing thing, out the way that the Detroit Pistons ended their 27 game losing streak against the only team that they could have possibly got a victory over, and that is the Toronto Raptors. You know, I didn't think it would actually happen. I kept saying it would, but in my heart of hearts, I'm like, there's no way that we know with that garbage. Turns out we are that garbage. But it's in the past. This could be another big wake up call for Masai, Ujiri, and Bobby Webster, because I think they already had a big wake up call early this season when they realized, oh, running it back with just a worse head coach with the relatively the same roster was not going to get us, any similings of success or playoff run. So, which is why they traded OG Anunoby to the New York Knicks. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today. But I don't think I could have let this video go on without mentioning that we ended up losing to the Detroit Pistons, the now 3-win Detroit Pistons. But anyway, the main topic of the video is the Toronto Raptors sent OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, and Precious Achiuwa to the New York Knicks for RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and a 2024 Pistons second round pick. Now, I'll be honest, when the trade first dropped and I saw the push notification come up on my phone, I was heated. I had no idea why we traded for RJ Barrett, especially trading OG for RJ. I was like, you know, I'm not a big fan of RJ Barrett. I think he's pretty overrated and he's on a contract that he doesn't deserve. But I digress. He's a Raptor now. He's back home. The fans seem to be super excited about the move. But anyway, after my initial reactions, I had time to calm down, you know, wait for more news to come out, kind of look about how this sets up our team long term wise, like timeline, like on Scotty's timeline, contract wise. And I am, I don't want to say that I'm happy about the move or I think it's a good move because obviously we have to see how things play out, but I'm a lot more favorable to it now than I was when, it first broke. OG Anunoby, one of the league's most versatile defenders, could basically guard any position and is the typical 3 and D wing that any contending team really needs if they want to make a deep playoff push. He goes to New York Knicks. The Knicks have been trying to acquire him for quite some time. And they finally got their guy, and they have a head start on their sales pitch to retain him the long term because he is heading into unrestricted free agency this season. So hopefully he likes the city that never sleeps, and they get to sign him on a contract. And him being paired along with Randall and Brunson works a lot better than Barrett with those two. And on paper it does seem like that, but we all know basketball isn't played on paper. So let's see how that pairing works. For Precious and Malachi, sayonara. I'm glad they got the fuck out of there. Bums, scrubs, no talent. Um, okay, that's mainly directed to Precious Achua more than Malachi Flynn. I was kind of indifferent on Malachi, and I was glad he was, being good at the beginning of the season. But really, we're nothings. Uh, I guess Precious Achua gives them some backup center minutes since Mitchell Robinson is out injured. But you know, have fun, I guess. I want to say that it was nice, thank you for everything and it was nice to have y'all, but it really wasn't. Coming in, RJ Barrett, just told you I'm not a big fan of him. However, an advantage he has over OG is that he could actually dribble the basketball. He could dribble, beat opponents off the dribble, and drive to the paint. Considering that that's an element to his game, and he gets some paint touches, generates some paint touches. It's cool. Hopefully he could develop part of his game because he is only 23, and yeah, he's on a big 4 year, 108 million, $107 million contract, which is a lot. But I think in the grand scheme of things, with the cap always going up each season, that's not going to really seem like, it's not going to be a world beater in like 2, 3 years from now. And, if he stinks of the joints, it does allow us more flexibility to move him further along the line since he is locked up for the next 3 seasons. The main player in this deal is Immanuel Quickley. I think he was runner up for last year, six man of the year, and arguably having a better season this year than he didn't have last year. He's kind of reminds me a lot about Norman Powell in a sense where he's this dynamic combo guard coming off the bench who can go for 20 plus a game easily. And I'm a big Norm guy. And Emmanuel quickly reminds me a lot about him. Potential to be a lot better than him. I think he's a versatile two-way combo guard. I know this kind of built like point guard, but I kind of think he's more of a shooting guard to me personally. So yeah, he could score the ball very well. He could shoot the basketball. My only concern about this move is that he comes to Toronto and forgets how to shoot the ball because we do have a tendency over the last 5, 6 seasons of signing shooters who forget how to shoot. It's very scary because it's kind of happened to Grady Dick, our first round pick this year, who was the best shooter in his draft class and now can throw a ball into the ocean. But maybe that's me being a little too negative, and maybe IQ is the player that will break the curse. Fingers crossed. And he is, going into free agency after this season, but he'll be a restricted free agent, so we get to bring him back on whatever deal he wants. And even if he doesn't like the deal, we pitch him and try to sign somewhere else, we can just match it. So I think this move is good for us roster wise because it kind of resets. It's like, all right, got some young guys to put along Scotty and his timeline. RJ Barrett, a little more versatile offensively. Immanuel Quickley could play the one or the two, come off the bench. He could shoot the basketball. He could score. He's a big microwave scorer, and he's very good defensively, by the way. So I'm very happy about that. We now have a vacancy. I want to say a backup big man spot, but we always had a vacancy there because it's always been precious. So that's something we're probably going to look to address, whether it be a free agency signing, because we do have another roster spot available. And I think we're just below the luxury tax, so we could sign somebody if we want to. So rotation, how the rotation is going to look for the next few games and for the remainder of the season. If no moves are made, it's up in the air. Darko will figure it out, but he hasn't figured out his rotations all season, so I highly doubt that. What's the main question coming out of this move is what's going to happen to Pascal? Because we got rid of 3 expiring deals, but we still have to resign Pascal, Gary, Scotty's due for an extension, and we will have to resign IQ. So is Pascal going to resign? Are we going to move him? We don't know as yet. It sucks because we see a lot of games where Pascal is still very good and Scotty is very good, and we've seen some games where they're both good together. It's just the way this roster is set up. I'm talking about you, Yak. Um, we just can't we're not built for both of them to be good together. So something has to give. So I do think a Pascal move is incoming. It's still the season's still a wash because I think our goal was just to be good enough. So our pick conveys this draft because this draft class is not supposed to be that good. So us losing this pick is like we charged it, like it's fine. But now it seems like our pick it won't convey this season and will probably convey next season. So I don't know. We're still tied up in our draft compensation going into the future. So if a Pascal move does come, I don't know which team. I have one team in mind, but that'll be for another video. I hope it's more draft capital incentivized. Who knows? I'm not the GM. It's just exciting that, we always kind of knew they picked a direction, but it was just for them to act upon it. And it's a shake up. Thanks for everything, OG. Welcome, IQ. Welcome, RJ. Sayonara, Malachi. Sayonara, Precious. Have fun on the Guangdong Tigers next season. But yeah, that's the trade. It's good to be back.